Both Democrats and Republicans are using crime data to paint two different pictures of violent crime in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, for 13 consecutive years, Chicago had more murders than any other American city.
Chicago, for instance, the highest murder rate in the country for the past 13 years. That's got to stop.
Illinois is not even in the bottom half of states in terms of violent crime. But do you hear him talking about Florida, where he is now from? No, you don't hear him talking about that, or Texas. Their violent crime rates are much worse in other places.
We cut through the spin to find the facts. Let's start with data about homicides in Chicago. First, words matter. There's a difference between talking about the number of homicides in a city versus the city's homicide rate. For 13 years, Chicago has had the highest number of homicides among US cities. It had 573 homicides in 2024, but it's inaccurate to say Chicago has the highest homicide rate in the US. Criminologists prefer citing homicide rates because that metric adjusts for population size, usually per 100,000 people. Chicago has 2.7 million residents, so its raw crime numbers are bound to be higher than smaller cities. But other US cities, such as Memphis, New Orleans, and St. Louis, have higher homicide rates than Chicago. What about Democrats' attempts to turn the focus away from their cities by looking instead at their state's overall crime rates? Pritzker cited information from US News and World Report about Illinois having a lower violent crime rate than Florida or Texas. That's in part because low crime numbers in rural areas can water down high crime numbers in urban areas, as one criminal justice professor told PolitiFact. Generally, it's important to remember that there are caveats to crime data. For example, the numbers can be affected by whether victims report crime and by the ways police agencies classify crime and whether they submit annual data reports to the FBI. The challenges of crime data mean that politicians can selectively use or criticize the data to score political points. That's why it's important to think critically when politicians present crime data. Can we help you cut through the spin on another topic? Let us know in the comments.